Have you ever wondered why some people live strong, active lives well into their 80s, while others struggle with serious health problems in their early 70s? Here's a shocking truth. Recent studies show that nearly 70% of seniors over 70 are holding on to at least one daily habit that silently increases their risk of heart disease, falls, or even early death. And the scary part is, these habits often look harmless. They don't cause pain right away. They feel normal. But over time, they quietly wear down your strength, your independence, and your confidence. So let me ask you, could you be making one of these mistakes without even realizing it? Stay with me, because in today's video, we're uncovering 6 harmful habits that seniors must quit after 70 if they want to stay healthy, live longer, and enjoy life on their own terms. And here's the best part. Along with each habit, I'll share a simple shift you can make instead. These aren't complicated routines or expensive fixes. They're practical, everyday choices that could give you back energy, protect your body, and even add years to your life. So if you're ready, let's start with the very first habit. One of the most common habits I see in people over 70 is skipping meals or eating far too little protein. Maybe you've done it yourself. You wake up without much appetite, so you just have coffee and a piece of toast. Lunch comes around, and you're not that hungry, so you nibble on something small. Dinner ends up being soup and crackers. It feels light, it feels easy, and you tell yourself it's enough. But here's the problem. As we age, our bodies need more protein, not less. Without it, the muscles that keep you steady on your feet begin to shrink. Your energy drops. Even small tasks, like carrying groceries or climbing a few stairs, suddenly feel harder. And when muscles weaken, your risk of falling skyrockets, and a single fall at 75 or 80 can change the rest of your life. Let me share a story. I once met a woman named Caroline, who was 74 years old. She had always been active, but after her husband passed, she fell into the habit of eating very little. She thought she was eating clean and keeping her weight down. But over time, her arms and legs grew weaker. One afternoon, she slipped while stepping off the curb. The fall broke her wrist, and when the doctors checked, they found her muscles had wasted away far more than expected for her age. The real culprit wasn't just the fall, it was years of too little protein. The good news? Caroline turned things around. With her doctor's guidance, she began adding simple protein-rich foods back into her day. Scrambled eggs in the morning, a small piece of fish or chicken at lunch, and Greek yogurt with berries for a snack. Within a few months, her strength improved, her energy returned, and she felt more like herself again. So here's the lesson. Skipping meals might feel harmless, but it quietly steals your independence. If you want to protect your strength and longevity, make protein a priority at every meal. Even small portions count. An egg, a handful of nuts, a slice of turkey, or a scoop of beans can make all the difference. Because after 70, food isn't just fuel, it's medicine for your muscles, your bones, and your future independence. Another silent habit that harms seniors after 70 is sitting too long without moving. And I don't just mean hours in front of the TV, though that's a big one. It can be sitting at the dining table after a meal, or spending the afternoon in your favorite chair with a book. At first, it feels relaxing. You tell yourself you deserve the rest. But when minutes turn into hours, your body quietly pays the price. Here's what happens. When you sit too long, your circulation slows, your joints stiffen, and your muscles weaken faster than you realize. That stiffness in your knees or the ache in your back when you finally stand up, that's your body sending you a warning. Over time, long stretches of sitting can increase the risk of blood clots, heart problems, and even memory decline. I remember meeting John, a 76-year-old retired bus driver. He was used to sitting for hours every day from his working years, and after retirement, he kept the same habit, spending most of his day in his recliner watching the news. One morning, when he tried to stand, his legs gave out beneath him. It wasn't a major injury that day, but his doctor explained something shocking. Years of long sitting had weakened his leg muscles so much that even a short walk became risky. John decided to make a change. He didn't start with heavy exercise. Instead, he set a simple timer to remind himself to stand up and move every 30 to 40 minutes. Sometimes he walked around the living room, sometimes just stretched his arms and legs. Within weeks, he noticed he could rise from his chair more easily, and his balance started to improve. That's the beauty of small changes. You don't have to spend hours at the gym. Just breaking up long periods of sitting with tiny bursts of movement keeps your blood flowing, your joints flexible, and your muscles strong. So the next time you catch yourself sinking into the chair for another long stretch, remember, movement isn't a luxury at your age. It's your lifeline. Now let's talk about something hiding right inside your kitchen cabinets. Too much salt and processed foods. On the surface, they look harmless. A can of soup, a frozen dinner, a bag of chips, it feels convenient, easy, and comforting. But after 70, these quick meals can quietly chip away at your health in ways you might not notice until it's too late. Here's the truth. As we age, our kidneys don't filter as efficiently, and our blood vessels become more sensitive. That means every extra pinch of salt has a bigger impact on your blood pressure, your heart, and even your brain. Too much sodium isn't just about swelling ankles or feeling thirsty. It can trigger strokes, heart failure, and memory decline. I once spoke with Carol, a 74-year-old widow who loved her microwave meals. She said it saved her time and gave her comfort to not cook for one. But her doctor noticed her blood pressure kept creeping higher. Carol brushed it off, thinking it was just part of aging. One day, though, she was rushed to the ER after a dizzy spell while gardening. Tests revealed the culprit wasn't age. It was the hidden sodium in the packaged meals she was eating daily. When Carol learned this, she was shocked. But she made a change. She swapped canned soup for fresh vegetable broth, replaced processed snacks with a handful of unsalted nuts, and started flavoring her meals with herbs instead of salt. Within a few months, her blood pressure dropped, and she felt lighter and more in control of her body. The lesson here is simple but powerful. After 70, your body needs clean fuel, not chemical shortcuts. Every time you reach for a packaged meal instead of fresh food, you're making a choice that affects your heart and your future. By cutting back on processed foods and easing off the salt shaker, you're not just protecting your health, you're giving yourself more good years, more energy, and more peace of mind. So next time you're in the grocery aisle, pause and ask, is this food going to help me live longer or shorten the time I have left? That one decision could change everything. There's one mistake that sneaks up on so many seniors, and it seems so small that most people don't even think about it. Not drinking enough water. By the time we reach our 70s, the natural thirst signal in our bodies weakens. That means you can be dehydrated without even feeling thirsty. And here's the dangerous part. Dehydration in older adults doesn't just make you feel tired. It can trigger confusion, dizziness, urinary infections, kidney problems, and even dangerous falls. Let me tell you about James, a 79-year-old grandfather who prided himself on being independent. One summer afternoon, he fainted while walking back from the mailbox. His family rushed him to the hospital, fearing something serious. The tests revealed it wasn't a heart attack, it was dehydration. James thought he was drinking enough, but in reality, his 2 small cups of coffee each day and a glass of juice at dinner left his body running on empty. The doctors explained that after 70, water is as vital as medicine. Our bodies simply don't hold and regulate fluids the way they used to. That means waiting until you feel thirsty is already too late. What James learned, and what all of us need to remember, is that hydration is one of the simplest and most powerful forms of self-care. The fix doesn't have to be complicated. Keep a water bottle by your chair. Take small sips throughout the day, and add a slice of lemon or cucumber if you want flavor. Herbal teas, broth, And even water-rich foods like melons and cucumbers all count toward keeping your body balanced. The point isn't to drown yourself in water, it's to keep a steady stream flowing so your cells, joints, and brain have what they need to function at their best. Think of it this way. Every sip of water is like oiling the engine of your body. Ignore it, and things start to grind and wear out. Pay attention to it, and suddenly everything runs smoother. Your energy, your mood, and even your memory. So ask yourself honestly, are you drinking enough to truly protect your health? Or are you quietly running on empty without realizing it? There's another hidden habit that quietly eats away at your health after 70, and many people shrug it off because they think, well, bad sleep just comes with age. But that's not true. Poor sleep routines, staying up too late, napping too much during the day, or tossing and turning at night, don't just make you groggy. They weaken your immune system, raise your blood pressure, and even increase your risk of memory decline. I remember meeting a woman named Margaret, 75 years old, who complained that she always felt tired. At first, she thought it was just normal aging. But when we talked more, she admitted her nights were all over the place. Some nights she'd stay up until 1 a.m. watching TV. Other nights she'd nap in her recliner at 6 p.m. and wake up at midnight unable to go back to sleep. Her body had no rhythm, no clear signal of when it was time to rest. The truth is, our bodies thrive on rhythm. Think of it like the clock in your kitchen. If it's constantly running fast one day and slow the next, you never know what time it really is. That's exactly how your body feels when your sleep schedule is out of sync. And over time, that chaos doesn't just cost you rest, it costs you health. The solution is surprisingly simple. Go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, even on weekends. Create a calming bedtime routine, maybe a warm shower, dimming the lights, or reading a few pages of a book. And just as important, keep screens and bright lights out of the bedroom. Your brain needs those quiet cues to understand. It's time to power down. Margaret eventually made these small changes. Within weeks, she noticed she wasn't just sleeping better. She felt sharper, more energetic, and even more hopeful about her days. So the question is, are you letting poor sleep routines steal your energy, your memory, and your peace? Or are you ready to take back control, one bedtime at a time? There's one habit many people don't even realize is hurting them. Ignoring their mental and social health. After 70, it's easy to pull back. Maybe your children are busy, old friends have moved away, or you just don't feel like joining activities anymore. Little by little, the days get quieter, and you find yourself spending more time alone. But here's the hard truth. Social isolation isn't just lonely, it's dangerous. Studies show that seniors who rarely interact with others are at higher risk of depression, faster cognitive decline, and even shorter lifespans. The brain, just like the body, needs exercise and connection to stay sharp. I once knew a man named Robert, 77, who admitted he had stopped going out after his wife passed away. Weeks turned into months, and he felt weaker, less motivated, and more withdrawn. Then, one day, a neighbor invited him to a walking club at the local park. At first, Robert hesitated. He thought, what's the point? I'll just slow them down. But eventually, he gave it a try. To his surprise, that simple step changed everything. Walking side by side, he found himself laughing again, sharing stories, and looking forward to the next meetup. It wasn't just about exercise, it was about connection. Within months, his mood lifted, his energy improved, and he felt alive in a way he hadn't in years. The solution doesn't have to be complicated. Call an old friend. Join a community group. Pick up a hobby that brings you joy. Even a short conversation with a neighbor can brighten your day more than you realize. Think of it this way. Your body needs food and water to survive, but your spirit needs people and purpose to thrive. If you cut off that lifeline, You're not just living less, you're living smaller. But if you nurture it, you'll find your health, happiness, and even your years on this earth can stretch further than you imagined. So ask yourself, are you giving your mind and your heart the same care you give your body? Or are you letting loneliness slowly steal away your best years? Now that we've walked through these 6 harmful habits, skipping protein and meals, sitting too long, overusing salt and processed foods, ignoring hydration, falling into poor sleep routines, and neglecting mental and social health, one thing becomes clear. It's often not the big, dramatic choices that shorten our lives, but the small, daily habits we overlook. Each of these habits may seem harmless at first. A skipped meal here, a long afternoon in the chair, a restless night, or another day spent alone. But over time, they quietly chip away at your strength, your independence, and even your joy. The good news is, it's never too late to make changes. Even one small adjustment, drinking more water, standing up every hour, calling a friend, can ripple out into a healthier, happier tomorrow. So I want to ask you, which of these 6 habits hit home for you today? Was it number 2, sitting too long? Or maybe number 6, letting loneliness creep in? If this video spoke to you, please give it a like, share it with a friend who might need these reminders, and subscribe with the bell turned on. Remember, protecting your longevity isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and small steps. And today, you already took the first one.